third and final speaker before we begin with the Q&A, and I hope that you're all tucking your questions into your back pocket because we will have time for them, is Darsheel Kaur. She is an educator, cultural worker, artist, youth advocate, and restorative practitioner from Dayton, Ohio. As a Punjabi immigrant and a student of Sikhi and a woman of color, she draws strength and courage from her identities and uplifts the beauty and opportunities in diversity. Finding truths and wisdom from her own personal and intergenerational healing journey, she facilitates circles, trainings, and workshops, and teaches as an adjunct instructor at Wright State. She inspires to infuse an ethos of healing wherever she goes and to build a world that replaces prisons, borders, and police with collective care, mutual accountability, and love in action through right relationship with the earth and one another. The title of her talk today is When We Dare to Dream.
Okay, well, you can hear me because you heard me sniffle, so I know it's on. Okay, hi everybody. Thank you all for being here. Thanks to CJP for the experiences of a lifetime. And welcome to our short time together for this TenTalk, When We Dare to Dream. Before I start my story, there's a few things that I need to say. The sacrifices of my parents, Dr. Simran Kaur and Dr. Darshan Singh, and the sacrifices of their parents and those before them made it possible for me to experience all the world has to offer and be just daring enough to dream, despite the forces telling me I couldn't. My dreams stand on the shoulders of the dreams of dreamers before me, those of the gurus and creators of the Sikh faith practice, the designers of the Sikh Gurdwara and communal food programs like Langar and the free breakfast program of the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense, and solidarity leaders such as Fred Hampton and Grace Lee Boggs. And my dreams stand parallel to those of dreamers all around me. Abolitionists like Angela Davis and Mariam Kaba, and of youth leaders and artist activists all around the world, some of whom I live and work with in Dayton, Ohio, and some whose names I do not know. They remind us of our freedom and responsibility to dream. As of today, I have lived in this human form for almost 30 years. Although I share a birthday with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., I first realized my ability and responsibility to dream about 8 years ago during my participation in the Occupy movement. Along with dreaming, I also began to recognize and harness my creative power. When putting my thoughts together for this talk, I found my mind coming up with every reason to not dream. Our city has been through a lot of emotional and psychological pain and physical devastation just this past year, along with the rest of the world. And I, too, have lost a lot of people I personally loved and who I continue to look towards for inspiration. Rest in peace and power, Brandon Spearman, Amber Evans, Ruben Castilla Herrera, Hasta Biswa, and Mylorense Twitty. Lois Oglesby, Jordan Coffer, Nicholas Coomer, Logan Turner, Thomas McNichols, Derek Fudge, Monica Brickhouse, Saeed Saleh, Beatrice Warren Curtis, Devin Henderson, Javier Harrison. How dare I dream when the hurt is so palpable all around me? When people in my life are fighting to keep their heads above water, from the weight of all of the violence and its manifestations, from centuries of unhealed historical trauma and conditioning. How dare I not dream? It is only when I allow myself to feel the pain, loss, grief, and heartbreak that I find my dreams on the other side. I recently came across a quote by Mariam Kaba where she said, "Hope is a discipline." I am just now realizing how true this really is. When hope is lost, the future is bleak, and the now becomes a blur. Our creative power loses its potency, and our life force dwindles. Once I realized I had the power to dream beyond my immediate experiences, what I was witnessing around me in my community, on the national and international news, these dreams have been my medicine to make me strong when I feel weak and make my life worth living when I feel hopeless and powerless. It may seem that these dreams are a distraction from reality, but the truth is, these dreams are the realest thing to me. I dare to dream because I know how powerful we are. I've experienced the power of the collective to infuse hope, healing, and grace where it seems impossible, to articulate and express histories and futures that remind us that we are the ones we have been waiting for, to manifest our dreams into reality. Right now, I'm working on just that, building an intentional community in a house we call the Heart, the House of Healing Arts, a collective of artist activists and creative entrepreneurs, practitioners of the healing arts, coming together in circles, sharing ourselves and practicing vulnerability with one another in an intentional way, uplifting hope, collaboration, ideas and inspiration, and most importantly, a sense of belonging. We are focusing on harnessing and channeling our creative power, healing intergenerational trauma, building trust through deep relationship, and visioning for our collective future. Learning how to be together in a way that is life-giving. Everybody eats. It is truly revolutionary. This is what it looks like when we dare to dream. And I'm blessed to have found others who are willing to dream with me. My dreams honestly scare me, but I have no choice but to dream them. I would like to invite you into a dream of mine. I welcome you to close your eyes and see if you can imagine it with me. I'll let you know when it's time to open them again. When your eyes are closed, go ahead and take a deep breath and prepare to go on this short journey into our collective imagination. My biggest and scariest dream is of a world without violence, where violence seems so unnatural that when someone causes us harm, we reach towards them and hold them until they remember who they really are, that we are the same, and that we are divine beings full of love and light and grace and the unlimited potential of the universe. And they are able to remember because the violence hurt them too. And the connection of oneness feels so much better spiritually. And that spiritual discernment comes so easily because it is reinforced daily. Any disagreements are addressed with care in order to return to understanding and connection. We don't need military weapons or guns or prisons or police or border walls to separate us in order to feel safe or secure, because we know that we gonna be all right. Shout out to Kendrick Lamar. And because we know that violence in response to violence just creates more violence. I dream a world where our spirits can be free, where going without or being in isolation is a choice, and we can easily access what we need because we live in a world of abundance, just like our Mother Earth, where fruits and vegetables, plants and herbs grow freely, and we treat them like the medicine they are, where we live in harmony and right relationship with all life forms, from the trees, mountains, and rivers, to the birds, fish, and animals who reside as our neighbors, where we give more than we take because we know that we belong to each other and that when you thrive, I thrive. In this dream, we all know our purpose and are able to share our gifts with the world. Our creative power is understood because we don't separate ourselves from the divine creative spirit from which we were born. Our life force flows freely through us like fresh waters flowing through lush green forests. And our natural diversity is celebrated, where we have rituals for grief and coming of age, life transitions, and accompanying the journey from mental psychosis to spiritual awakening. Now, open your eyes. Take a second to notice how you feel. Does it feel real to you? I've been thinking about what differentiates fantasies and dreams, and I think it has something to do with how much we really believe in our capacity to manifest those dreams into reality. Surrendering to the true power of our visions and our place in working towards their creation. I was recently watching Oprah Winfrey Presents When They See Us with Ava DuVernay and the Exonerated Five, more commonly known as the Central Park Five. As Oprah was interviewing these 5 men who were incarcerated as youth for violent acts they did not commit, one of the men, Raymond Santana, spoke about being free in his dreams while he was incarcerated. He dreamt of himself moving around freely with his father, just hanging out in their home. Although physically at the time, Raymond was behind bars, his spirit still held on to a sense of freedom inside of him. Bars and prisons are so normalized in our modern culture that even those of us on the outside still create prisons in our own mind. The power of the mind and spirit to create reality and truth is something we can tap into no matter our external environments. Even when everything around us normalizes violence as the only response to harm and as a way to mask fear, we can always tap into our creative power, and we always have the power to choose. This is the work most worth doing and is essential to our freedom when we dare to dream. And to start, ask yourself this question from Chance the Rapper. When did you start to forget how to fly?